Great day, great day. This is Tammy J with The Texture of Me. Welcome to the show. Our show provides a place where people can voice their experiences and having dealt with discrimination because of the texture of their hair. Great day, great day. This is Tammy J with The Texture of Me, and welcome to the show. All our listeners and our viewers, hey, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow our YouTube page or our social media links at The Texture of Me. So we have the awesome pleasure as our guest, Dr. Brittany Campbell. Dr. Brittany Campbell, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on our show. We really appreciate that. And, I hope you don't get uncomfortable, but we do like to acknowledge our guests. We like to acknowledge people that come on the show. So, Brittany, I just, looking at your accolades and what you've been up to, your PhD you completed when you were 26. Wow.
Yeah.
So that means you just completed it this year then, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you. Not quite, but thank you.
Awesome. I like to tell everybody I'm 25 and I'm
Yeah.
at that, right? And ask me how old I am. 25 every year.
Exactly.
Yes. And an honors in medical science from the University of Toronto. Wow. That had to be something as an accomplishment at 26 honors and, getting your PhD in genetics and cancer research.
Yes.
Oh, Brittany, that is phenomenal.
Thank
And
you.
you've done journals and research, huh?
Yes, I have published, yeah.
You published. Oh, that is phenomenal. And I love the fact that, in nature genetics, that's quite amazing. And it's
Yeah.
something I'm not into really science, but just to say that, you want to share a little bit about that? Because I don't know if our guests would know what nature genetics is.
Yeah, it's a relatively widely recognized journal in the sciences in the field that I'm in. I majored in biology and life sciences throughout most of my life, and I started
Mm,
working in labs pretty young, like from high school. I'd already started, and I loved science. I loved the scientific process. I thought it was just cool, and I loved that as a person who just really likes answers. I loved that there was a way to know the truth about something, especially something as complicated as like us and our systems and our biology and our DNA. So I
mm.
started working with DNA when I was like 15, and then it just kept going from there. I studied DNA, I studied genetics, then I studied like what goes wrong with DNA and genetics in the context of like cancer research.
Gotcha.
And that's what happened. Then I worked in a children's hospital for a bit, and then I worked in an adult hospital slash academic center. And what's great about that is that you kind of get to study human tissues directly,
Mhm.
and instead of like working on a model organism like a mouse or um, a cell line or something like that. So
That's
that was
really
really awesome.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. And speaking of genetics, right?
Yeah.
You're biracial, mixed race. You said
Yes.
half Brazilian and half Jamaican and Chinese, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So my mom is from Brazil. She grew
Mhm.
up in like a sort of small town in Brazil.
Okay.
And she racially, so I'm what I guess you'd refer to as like racially ambiguous. Like people kind of look at me and they're like, "We know you're not white," but like there's something going on there. And that's been a conversation in my life. We can talk more about that. But yeah, so my mom is from Brazil, and she is like skin tone wise, she's white.
Mhm.
And then my dad is from Jamaica,
Mhm.
and he was born there. And but my so and his dad is Jamaican and like light skinned Jamaican, and his mom is half Chinese and half Jamaican. So he's like
Wow.
3/4 Jamaican and 1/4 Chinese. And my grandmother on my dad's mother is like her dad was from Hong Kong, so she's like fully half Chinese.
Gotcha.
So that's yeah, that's like the racial breakdown, and then you get me. And
Yeah.
so
And I love the way
yeah.
you put it genetically, because a lot of
Mhm.
times people are not aware how genetically it affects who we are. And as we speak on about hair, the genetics about our hair. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in the context of like hair texture conversation, it's people do look at it that way, right? They do
Yeah.
say like one of the most frequent questions that I get when someone meets me is like, "Where are you from?" And they're wholly unsatisfied when I say Canada because they're looking at me going, "No, really, like where are you? Like what?" In other words, like what is your ethnic background? Like what is your racial breakdown,
Mm.
right? And then I have, like sometimes I choose to have the full extended, like, breakdown, and sometimes I'm kind of like, I give the short version, but yeah, it matters, right? It
It does. And
matters.
I really appreciate having you on the show because you bring the science to this conversation about the genetics and hair,
Yeah.
And I think about the importance of people to have that and to be able to identify it and to really get present to the uniqueness of it and then
Mhm.
the how to say the uniqueness and then the commonality of it, right?
Yeah.
So, with you going through life with your curly hair, how was that for you when you were a child, wearing your hair natural? Is your mom's hair curly? Whose hair is curly in your family?
Yeah, so I have a lot of different stories and experiences around it that I think have, like, shaped my hair journey. I'm quite happy with my hair now, and I get a lot of compliments on it, and I feel like I've, like,
It's
journeyed.
absolutely beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I've journeyed to this point and I've, like, achieved things. So my mom's hair is, like it's fine and it's definitely textured, it's not straight. But something that's really prominent in Brazilian culture is chemically relaxing hair,
Mm,
and it's not necessarily, like, a black girl thing
mhm,
in Brazil. Like, every woman that has some sort of texture in their hair is actually they kind of put chemically relaxing as like the thing to do because it makes it shiny and straight. It's like quote unquote easier and like it lasts longer. So I think like someone like my mom has preferred to do some sort of routine like that so that it like looks straighter and easier and whatever. Like, her hair's
presentable.
like yeah, her hair's fine, but it doesn't have a lot of curl, like, texture in it. It's textured, but it's not very curly. And then
Gotcha.
my dad's is more like mine, where, he's 3 quarters Jamaican, but he doesn't have, like, typical like, a black man's hair. He has, like, a softer, like, kind of mine where it's longer and, like, I guess that Asian really came in where it, like, softened out the curl pattern and it's like, um, it's a little bit thicker and, like, coarser/curlier slash curlier than mine. So
Mhm.
that's, like, their hair textures.
Gotcha.
So mine as a result is, like it's, like, what so I always confuse hairstylists because 'cause I'll go into the salon and my hair, like, it's not like this now, but my hair will be, like, bigger,
Right.
right?
With the
And
volume.
then they'll go, "Oh my gosh, you have so much hair." And I'm
Mhm.
like, "No, I don't really." Like, and then they wash and they're like, "Oh, no, you don't." And they get confused because 'cause it's fine, right?
Right.
It's curly, but it's fine.
Right.
So that makes it easy for me to sort of easier, I guess, compared to I'm comparing it to, like, a sort of coarser hair type. Um,
I like to
to
interject something because one of the
yeah,
things I think about when we speak on the genetics, right?
sure.
My mother's Korean and she has curly hair, right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
ideally, people think, it's more of technically a race thing, but and 70% of people have some type of textured hair, be it kinky, curly, or wavy, right?
Right.
And to be able to identify different level of genetics that we don't even know, but people have categorized it based on a race thing when it's
Mm,
not even that.
mhm, that's
And
true.
so I love the fact that you, like I said, you're bringing the part of the genetics and science to it, that people can actually see a different part of what texture hair is, and it's not a race thing. However, there's an impact racially as far as the African American community having to dealing with our hair being a certain way, and it's been ridiculed about it, So I
Yeah.
really appreciate, the insights that you're bringing and even your own personal journey. So was your mom able to do your hair at all, or what
So
was
no,
her struggle?
that was the struggle. So I was thinking like, what's my earliest memory of me being insecure about my hair? And the earliest memory that I have was like I actually vividly remember this. I'm running around as like, I don't know, I must have been maybe 8 or 9 or 10, and I was running around in, like, the high school, and there was this older boy, and, like, I, like, kind of liked and respected, and then he goes to me, "Oh, your hair looks like the girl from the Pepsi commercial," right? And at the time, the girl from the Pepsi commercial was this, like, young girl, but she had this big, poofy, like, frizzy hair, and I
Mhm.
remember feeling judged and feeling like I was messy or unkempt, like I had messy hair,
Mm,
right? And that was where, like, the struggle started where I felt like my hair was inherently messy or inherently, like, unkempt or, like, not neat,
mm.
right? But
Yeah.
or someone who had, like, straight or sleeker hair would have, like, they had neat hair, like, it was, like, a clean thing, right?
So I want to, kind of pause in that. So it was like this thought process that when he made that comment was
Yeah,
that your hair was messy, unruly, and
yeah,
unkempt, right? And
right.
so it wasn't pretty at all, right?
No, exactly, and that was part of it, like, the aesthetic, like, the beauty part of it was also there. It was like, "Oh, I'm not as pretty because I have this, like, bigger, frizzier," like, the aesthetic part was definitely there, and especially because it was a boy that said it, so
Mhm.
for me, it was like like, I had made up in that time, like, I'm not as attractive because of, like, what my hair
Mhm.
looks like, and, like
See, you didn't think you were that pretty because your hair was that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely there, and that, I think that led to me trying to, like, my mom I just have memories of, like, my mom running to, like, we went to this Japanese hair salon and, like, putting, like, this chemical relaxant in my hair and, like, using these plastic boards and, like, pasting my hair in, like, sections to these plastic boards to, like, chemically straighten it out, and it took, like, 4 hours. It was painful and it was traumatic, and, there was another time where, like, I think it was, like, just in middle school where my mom had bought some chemical relaxant. She was like, "Oh, I can relax your hair." Then we did it at home. Then it ended up being, like, too potent or too much, and half my hair fell out, and then,
Wow.
like, I had to, like, regrow out half of my hair. Oh, man, it was so, like, just, like, so traumatic, but it was just me trying to, like, not knowing how to do my own hair, and so trying like, for me, straighter, like I said, was, like, neater, was easier, and then, the other thing that I noticed about my relationship with my hair was that if I had a job interview, I definitely couldn't wear my hair curly. Like,
Wow.
I had to put it up
Mhm.
or I had to, like, make it seem if I felt like if I wore my own hair, then it would be too provocative or too, like, not professional looking or
Mm.
too sort of, like, not fitting or, like, too ostentatious or too, in your face or, like,
Right.
bold. Who do I think I am? You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's
And
what I
when
yeah.
I hear even the level of, in all truth, me wearing my
Yeah,
hair naturally, I am very self-expressed because that's what I hear in that, right?
yeah.
And, and I could see how, you know, you're trying to prevent that. It was like this way of, I don't know if it was like even like hiding because you wanted to consider it normal and look like everybody else in a sense. Would that be
Yeah.
accurate? Yeah.
Well, I think so.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I didn't wanna come off as, I didn't wanna come off as too, like, out there or, like, too,
In
"Who
your
do I
face.
think I am?" Like, "Who do
Yeah.
I think I am?" Like, too, like, arrogant or, and also there was this thing with, like, sexiness, like, it was in a professional environment, and I thought that my curly hair would, like, make it would be if I wore it out and big, then it was like I was trying to, like, provoke. I don't know why that was there, that was just there. So,
I
in
mean,
an effort to be, like, professional looking and perceiving that way,
mm.
then I felt like my hair had to be, like, a certain way.
Yeah. And really acknowledging that because it's a viewpoint that we have, right?
Mhm.
'Cause even to
Yeah,
the viewpoint of my hair, I didn't wear it curly. I mean, I wouldn't even shampoo, even being in this industry, but doing my hair at the salon, they ain't gonna know my secret of my hair being like this, because I had,
yeah,
even as a hairstylist, I still had
yeah.
my hair straight for a while,
Mhm.
and the idea was like, let me do it. No, you ain't gonna do my hair because that meant you was gonna know the truth about me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I didn't want you to know the truth about me.
Mhm,
And
mm,
whatever truth was like how my hair was, no, no, you can't know that secret. So I
mm,
can totally relate as a perspective that we have about ourselves and our hair, how it
yeah,
shows up differently, uniquely
yeah.
and also the same. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I no one, like, told me that, like, no one's ever been like, "Oh, you shouldn't wear your hair like that," or, you know and, like, even the very early on, like, Pepsi Girl thing, when I went and looked back at it, I was like, "No, she was very cute," like, he didn't I don't think he intended that in any way, like,
That was your
it
interpretation.
was entirely my own
Girl,
interpretation.
I hope you didn't like him because then that if he was saying how beautiful you were, like his interpretation was you were beautiful, and you're like, oh, he think I'm ugly because my hair, and then you just didn't like him no more. He'd be like, man, girl, what happened? So
Yeah, I was oh, man, I was so young anyway, but yeah, like but I did so yeah, you just make stuff up, right? Like, no one's ever actually said to me, "Oh, you can't wear your hair like that," like, to a job interview, and that, like, they won't hire you, or, like, it
Mhm.
was just something, I don't know, like, that I maybe, like, I made up or I absorbed or something
And
where
I want to speak to that because
yeah,
that is a thing that I bring up about to people and dealing with the psychological and mental barriers of hair discrimination because
mhm,
it's this internal thing that we don't even know where we get it from. But even in,
mhm,
as you said, your mom's culture was like straight hair was the thing to do. And then the interpretation of it, of course, we run off with it. But whatever case, we know not to wear it curly. We need to wear it straight because that's the way to wear it. Because even with
right,
my mom having her curly hair, she and it's like it's wavy, but it's still you can't deny that it's not curly, right?
yeah,
And it was like, no, you wear it straight. No, like, that's what she makes sure I get relaxers. And the girl, let me tell you, I don't know about you when you was getting your relaxer, but I got some serious chemical burns, okay? And
yeah, I did too, yeah.
it was like a level and it's like a level of punishment for our hair when you think about it. So it could be at a level traumatic, and then
Yeah, oh, absolutely it was. I
yeah,
hated sitting in that chair. Like, it
yeah.
was just, like, hours of my life and, like, me just praying that it would come out this time or, like, turn out this time because the promise was that I would have nice, straight, not unruly, not unkempt, like, nicely looking, like there's also, like, an ease factor to it, right? Like, I could just wake up in the morning, it'd be straight. I could brush it, right? Because curly hair, like, you don't I don't brush my hair when it's
Right.
curly, like, obviously. So, like, things you learn, right? So, like, there was this promise of, like, just, like, freedom and, like,
Mhm.
ease with your hair if it was straight, and I, like, wholly bought into that, and the difficulty with it was that firstly, it never fully straightened my hair, so it never even worked,
Mhm.
and the other thing was, like, if anything, I was left with this, like, stringy, sort of half straight, half curly type of mess that didn't end up looking any better, and then it would just added to, like, my struggle. So, anyway, that's what happened, and then fast forward to the sort of the curly hair side, and I was like, "Okay, now let's get into wearing my hair naturally and what does it need?" And then
Well,
there's
I
a
want to
whole
pause right there if you don't
Sure.
mind. So, what was that for you when you was like, enough is enough? I'm
Yeah.
gonna embrace this curly hair thing. I'm gonna embrace my natural hair. Like, what was that moment? Could you share with us like when that was for you?
I don't think it was a definitive moment, but I think after enough failures of, like, trying to chemically treat it or, like, having enough fights with my mom about, like, what I was gonna do with it, and just being like, "No," like and also other people help because, like, I have gotten a lot of compliments on my hair when it's curly, so I knew that if I was consistent with it and if I committed to it, like, my own curl pattern was great, and, like, I didn't have to sort of go around searching for an easier way to wear my hair, like, I could figure this out, like, I could just commit to it, so yeah, I think it was a process more than a moment of just, like, coming to acceptance and, having the confidence to wear it out. Having the confidence not to just wear it like it is now, but also wear it, like, on day 2 or 3 where it's, like, a little bit frizzier and it's a little bit bigger and, you've slept on it a couple nights, but you haven't had time to, like, fully do the routine. It's like, embracing that aspect of it
Mhm.
too, where it's, like, it doesn't always look perfect, so
And I appreciate you saying that because sometimes people think it's that, that moment that is supposed to be like, oh, I love it. And it's,
yeah.
oh, it's a journey, right?
Oh, totally a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
Still a journey.
acknowledging that. Yeah. So here you are, you say, I'm about to take this on. So do share
Yeah.
part with us. Yeah. So how did that?
Yeah, so oh my gosh, so
Thank you all for enjoying the show. The Texture of Me is proud and excited to announce the first ever Textured Hair Approved CE credits. You can find it at thetextureofme.com/education. When it's time to renew, you know what to do. Again, thank you so much for your support and continue enjoying the show.
so, it'll start with your, ways to style curly hair Google search and, like, the curly hair salon, and then you realize that there's, like it's gotten so much better now, but when I started, it was like there was, like, one salon that, like, specialized in curly hair, and there are different the different product lines, there's Mixed Chase, there's Diva Curl, there's, like, um, all sorts of, like, different product lines and stuff, and then you start getting into things like apple cider vinegar rinses and, like, do I shampoo or do I not shampoo? Are sulfates good? Are sulfates bad? Like, all of that, and then, getting into what else? There was one video I watched where she was like, there I haven't washed my hair in 6 years, and when I wash it, I only wash it with mud, and I'm like, "I think this is, getting a bit extreme." So, my point is there's just, like there's just, like, so much out there, and you're like, "What is right and what is wrong and what works?" Even in the domain of, like, being committed to wearing your hair curly, it's like now it's a whole sort of other thing. Like, today, what was my routine was, like, I use the Inner Sense products, the curly hair products, which I'm currently liking, and I have a Denman brush, and I use it, and I like it. And, I make sure that my hair is soaking wet before I put in my products, like, that's something that I picked up from a curly hair salon that I went in so that because I realized how much my hair actually needed moisture, and that's the biggest thing with my hair is that it'll dry out so quickly
Mhm.
that, um, yeah, just, like, for my hair, it's just, like, moisture and moisture and moisture and moisture. So those are things that I've all, like, experimented with and learned and experienced that frustration of, like, not having a consistent, um, output every wash day, and also letting go of having to have a consistent, like, I've the frustration has been, "Oh, but I just wish that it was just the same every time that
Right.
when I did my hair, I know what it was gonna come out looking like," and, like, especially when you have things like events or speeches or something, like, you're just like, "Oh, I hope today, like, my
To have
curls."
that perfect day for this event.
Yeah,
I will have to give it with you offline because I know how to master that. I don't know if you got
yeah,
it, but there's a point of doing that. And I have a routine for myself, but we're not going to talk about it on here. So
yeah.
we'll talk about that later. So, Anne, thank you for sharing that. I'd like to get to also where was that point in your life with your hair, your journey, where it was like, oh, I love my hair. What's in my hair? Hey,
Yeah.
when did that show up for you?
Oh, man, it's been, like it shows up a lot, it shows up frequently,
Hmm.
um if I allow it to be that way, like, it's my own, like, um, settling into it and wearing it and just being like, out and, like, happy with it, and when did it start? I mean, I think it's always been there, it's just whether or not, like, it's been able to stay, for example, I wash it, I'm confident in my, like, my wash days, it's gonna be, like, a good hair day. Like, day 2 or 3, I'm kind of like, oh, I gotta, like, work a little harder to get it there kind of thing. And
Mhm.
so it'll like, how I feel about it will vary based
Totally.
on, like, how it looks and the day. But
Mhm.
I mean, like, yeah, I've had it frequently, and I've had, moments where I've been out and the guy across the street will yell like, "That's really great hair," and I'm like, feel great about it, and I'm like, "Okay."
Mm.
Yeah.
I can
Right?
say, a lot of my
Yeah.
clients, now a lot of new clients that I'm getting, and they were telling me this, moments where somebody actually compliment them on their hair, and that's been the first in their life, and they're like 50, 60, older women.
Wow.
And I'm just like, wow, I've had clients what I've done their hair and they've cried because they said my hair never looked this beautiful.
Yeah.
And what I hear is like, you have your moments when it's like you're loving it, and one moment you're like, girl, you better come on and
Yeah.
talking to your hair, like, this is the day I'm gonna need you
Yeah.
to act right, So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that you sharing that you actually have like phases when you experience that, and I
Mhm.
look forward to the day when you just love it no matter what, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a process. And for myself, I have to say I love it no matter what, and I appreciate it because it's funny that once I actually start wearing my hair natural, the thicker it got, you know. And there are some days when I'm like, you that now that's it. And some days I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
like, we're gonna need to do it. And in all case, I love it. I was looking at some previous podcasts that I had, and I remember my first one, but my hair was so big, but that day you couldn't tell me that because I just love my hair. And
Yeah.
loving my hair is like this part of loving me that I
Mhm.
didn't even know was missing. A level of confidence that I didn't even know was missing for myself to
Yes.
have because of my hair, my
Yeah.
love for my hair.
Yeah, I'm seeing it totally newly now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just, what I'm seeing is that it's like I don't have to fix it to like it, you know?
Mhm.
I don't have to,
And we'll have to
like
pause. Let's say you don't have to fix it to like it.
Yeah.
That's right there is like a motto, like you don't have to fix it to like it.
Yeah.
Just embracing it, right? It's
Yes.
beautiful just the way it is. We're beautiful just the way that we are. So there's nothing to fix. So thank you for putting that in. That is like I got tingling in that. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
You gave it to me, I just saw it. But yeah,
yeah.
oh man, how much time have I spent just not really knowing it, but in the space of, like, I just have to fix my hair and then I'll be good. Like,
Mm,
that's, like, a requirement. It's like, "I'm not happy right now, but when I fix my hair, I'll be okay."
yeah.
It's like a when or, like it's
Mm,
like, "I just gotta do this first, and then I can be happy with it."
right.
Right? I just
Right.
have to go through this 12-step process of, like, my hair, but then we'll be okay, you
Right.
know? So,
Definitely.
yeah, totally. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And I shared with people, I remember the day when I saw how beautiful my hair was because I had went through my phase of my journey, and I'd gaze at myself in the mirror. I mean, so it's like this kind of looking at myself in the mirror, but not really, right? And
Mhm.
because I needed to look to make sure my makeup was right, but I wasn't really looking at me, because of my hair journey. Because it was, and that's when I knew I had something because the emotional experience that I was having.
Yeah.
And I remember when my daughter-in-law had sent me a picture. We was somewhere in Michigan, and I saw me, but the first thing I saw, Brittany, was my hair. And I was like, is that my hair? That's my hair. And it was just like my hair is sitting on me right now, right? But I'm sitting here
Yeah.
looking at this picture and so moved by how beautiful I looked with my hair. And it's
Wow.
it's a nice fro and everything. And as a kid growing up, I hated my fro. Don't you ever have me have no fro. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
to shift to see the beauty in myself in a whole new way. I just fell in love with myself in a whole new way. Like, oh my gosh, this is my hair. So it's like now you can't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Don't you can't tell me nothing. They're like, oh your hair looks so pretty. In my mind, like, girl, I know. But then I'm like, thank you. You know, like it's
Yeah.
reaffirming of the beauty from the inside out for me with my hair. And it was something that I never knew was
You
missing.
know, that is so great. That is so great because what I'm seeing too is that I've spent even with makeup and hair, I've spent so much time looking at my work on it and, like, looking at my makeup application, but not looking at me, looking at my makeup application as separate from me, right?
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
looking at my hairstyle as an assessment of how well I did it, but there is, like, a depersonalization of it when you do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's almost like it's I guess it's beauty in general where it's like we're looking at our performance of it or our ability to, like, you know, achieve it,
Mhm.
and then you kind of lose you in it. Wow,
Yeah.
it's profound.
Yeah, and I love the way he's, like, achieving the beauty, but
Yeah,
it's like there's nothing to achieve, like, it's
exactly.
already there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
very enriching conversation, I'm loving it, this is so
Hmm.
good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's true. It's like we're always trying to it's like there's somewhere else that we're trying to get
mhm,
rather than, like, we're inherently beautiful. And yeah, I was just kind of walking around like, yeah, of course I perform beauty. Like, of course, like, I don't wake up beautiful. I don't wake up beautiful. I do a bunch of things and then I'm beautiful, or like I do a bunch of things and then I'm acceptable to myself or the world or whatever, right? Like
mhm,
I engage in this, like, process rather than it being like I think what it's meant to be, and like having it as like an honoring of self or like a ritual that we engage in for like as part of ourselves. That's what I'm seeing.
yeah, and that's the journey of ourselves, right? Where it's I share with people and even why I created the texture of me, because the texture of me is our own uniqueness, whatever texture, kinky, call it curly, wavy, or even, people who don't have the texture, people now that are experiencing alopecia, it's like this level of texture, meaning the uniqueness of who we are individually and loving ourselves from the inside out and the outside in that no one can ever take away. When I experienced that love for myself and I saw that picture of my hair, it was like when I say you can't tell me nothing, man, it's this newfound love for myself and confidence that I didn't know was missing and that I have. And it
Yeah,
just hey, it doesn't matter. It's me. It's the identity of self and self-love that no one can ever take away. And so that's what
I
had
love
me
it.
create this. Thank you. It's just so inspiring. And it's
And
just,
so important.
yeah.
So important. Like, so I'm increasingly just getting how important it is for people to notice that, like, separation of self, like, them versus their hair, right? Or, like,
Mhm.
there's, like, this, like, antagonistic relationship with it of, like, trying to, like, manipulate it or fix it or change it or,
Yeah.
have it look right or the opposite, like, just, like, giving up and then feeling like those women that go in and they're like, "I had a transformation, like, I've never seen my hair like this," because like, maybe they're just resigned about it, right? Or,
Mm.
like, just not had that experience, so, yeah, it's so important and something that, like, we're looking at ourselves in the mirror every day, all the time, like,
Mm.
having that conversation with ourselves, right? Just, like, judging or yeah, not seeing our true beauty, so,
Yeah. And this, when we look at hair and everything, it's a level of identification and self-identification.
of
And so
course.
why not think so highly of it? Why not? It's beautiful. It's who we are, and just to really see the love that we have for ourselves exude beyond, this level of physical appearance. And that's
Yeah,
why it's from the inside out. And Hey, why not the hair? Why not the face? Not why not the body? I'm not even gonna go about the whole body image that we have in society. My focus is the hair part.
Yeah.
But it is really truly about the self-love that I really focus on and have me to create this company. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
great. It's so important, so important.
Well, Dr. Brittany Campbell, I just thank you so much for being on the show. It was been so insightful, and I love the way you brought science to this because this is a unique thing that no one has really talked about. And I'd love to have you on the show again so we can go more in depth into this because like I said, it brings something that people are not hearing because you have a lot of people who got hair products, you got I don't know if you're familiar with the Crown Act who are getting the rights for us to even wear our hair in environment, schools and work and
Yeah,
things.
I had no idea that that was even,
Yeah.
like,
And
an
so
issue.
it's yeah. And then as you bring the science to it, that's very unique. And I love to bring the psychology to it because people don't realize the impact that it has on us mentally. But if we look at the genetics as well, that just brings another sounded, grounded reason on why this is so significant and making a difference in it and having us to view it differently and to, consider some things and the impact of a level of how we see ourselves as a level of identity and a level of self-love, you know? So again, thank you so much for being on our show. Um, I don't know how you feel about having people know where to even reach you if they want to reach you. And it's all up
Okay,
to you.
like,
Yeah.
like, people can email me if they want or,
Okay.
like, follow up, that's totally cool.
Okay. And what's your email address if they'd like to reach out to you?
So my email is, my first name dot my middle name, so it's Brittany, Brittany, dot Bonfim, Bonfim, at gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, you've heard it here, and I just want to thank everybody for being on the show and listening to the show. And I know you got a lot of this show because I did, and here. I'm here, the host of the show. And so thank you all for your listening. Remember to like, subscribe, and follow, and have a great one. And remember, great day, great day. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to support the show, please share it with others, post about it on your social media, leave a rating and review. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon.